Somebody recently posted an article that talked about a study that found that people tend to have more fun when activities are spontaneous as opposed to planned and scheduled. So, you picture yourself like having this set of activities that would normally be fun for you, and you're being told like, okay, you're going to do this one at this specific time for an hour, and then at this time you're going to go here and do this thing. Apparently the study showed that in people's minds it's more fun if they're just allowed to just do whatever they want to do at any given time, as opposed to being told to be at places at specific times. Now, when I first came across that article, my first immediate reaction was like, yes, this is what I've been trying to explain to people. Things are more fun when they're not scheduled. But then when I started to think about it, when I think about the SJs in my life, like my ESFJ mom and my ISTJ girlfriend, and plenty of other SJs that I know throughout my life, the issue for them isn't so much whether planning and scheduling makes things more or less fun. It's just that for them, the time leading up to the fun activity is just more stressful when too much is unknown. They're worried about not knowing enough about the activities and causing them to possibly miss out on the fun entirely, or, things going wrong because they didn't plan enough ahead of time. So it's just more comforting to them to have all those details worked out ahead of time. And I see, to me, all that planning is actually more stressful because it's like committing to a schedule and being stuck with it. I may simply feel like doing something different when that time actually comes. So I would just rather not think about that and just enjoy whatever I feel like doing. Now, of course, it doesn't always work that way. Some things have to be scheduled. Like if I want to fly to another city, I have to book the flight ahead of time. So I have to be at the airport at that time. I might have to reserve a hotel room for specific nights. Certain tours are only done at certain times of the year, and they have to be booked ahead of time. If I just show up at something and it's like, peak season, tickets are going to be sold out, and I have to wait until the next available time slot when tickets are available. Then it's like I gotta book that tour that many days ahead of time, and then show up at that time that I reserved, and then just trying to arrange it with with other people that I'm going with. Well, I can't just say like, hey, I'm gonna go do this thing. Want to come with me? What are the odds that that person is going to be free, to drop whatever they're doing right at that moment? Sometimes it happens. Some, people do that, but more often than not, I have to plan a certain time to get together with that friend, because all of us are busy, and then, we have to find a time that works for all of us. Now, what's weird is I grew up in basically an SJ culture, and by that I mean I was surrounded by SJs and people of other types that were influenced by SJs. So I had this mindset ingrained in me that planning was necessary to accomplish anything, including fun activities. And then, after I started living on my own, I gradually discovered the fun of being spontaneous, and then eventually I was doing most of my fun things without planning, because I preferred it that way. And that kind of became my thing. That's how I got into doing random road trips and just kind of spontaneously just going wherever I felt like going at any moment of the trip, or just going for a random day drive on a weekend. But then I started missing out on certain things, like when I went to Hawaii, I couldn't do the Pearl Harbor tour because that has to be booked in advance, and I just hadn't really thought that part through. Plus, I just kind of felt like doing something else on the day that other people were going. And in that same trip, I had to deal with other things like reserving a hotel, reserving a car rental, planning which days I'm going to get to see certain people. I mean, it just kind of reinforced the notion that some things just have to be planned. But I still have my own preferences. If given the option, I would like to be able to do something where I can be spontaneous, something where I can just go, like I still enjoy doing my occasional random road trips where if I just feel like going somewhere, I'll just get in my car and drive and not have to worry about where I'm going or what I'm going to do. just do whatever I feel like doing. And, it's great that I get to do that. SJs do it their way. They would rather know exactly where they're going and when, where they're going to stay, how they're going to get there, and just have all those details worked out so they don't have to worry about those unknown things. And then they can focus on having fun when they get there. Now, if I'm going to travel with an SJ, then we just have to compromise on those kinds of things. That's just how life works. So, what all this means is that study about people having more fun, whether things are planned or not, was just a huge waste of time and money. Something prevented them from even getting there. Yeah, but never mind that. It's just that for them, the time leading up to it is more stressful. Okay,